G7 finance ministers meeting. The big club is playing a big role in terms of the market momentum, and they are the one who decide what sort of synchronized monetary policy and again a fiscal outcome. This is prelude to the G7 group meeting in total terms. G7 has become G8, G8 has become G20 now. So what's the importance of G7 meeting? The 47th G7 summit is intended to be held on 11th to 13th June 2021 in the UK, while it holds the presidency of the G7. Attendees will include the leaders of the 7 G7 members as well as the representatives of the European Union. G7 Group 7 Summit will welcome leaders from countries such as Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan. And this year even invited leaders from Australia, India and South Korea. It is said to be Joe Biden's first visit to the UK as President of the United States. So in addition to G7, you have Australia, India and South Korea. G7 finance meetings, first meeting on February. G7 countries to work with international institutions to enable vulnerable countries to make the pandemic, to normal. These included supporting a rapid and fair vaccine distribution, lessons learned, supporting debt relief with a call for private sector creditors to help to ensure sustainable debt treatment to the poorest countries and ensure access to credit and grants for low-income countries. You can't tax the poor countries beyond definition. They will be dysfunctional. G7 finance ministers to discuss the focus in the year ahead on protecting jobs and reaching global solution to the tax challenges created by digitization of the economy. That's very, very important. Where does it originates? What sort of liability comes in? Who has to collect? Source and destination of the e-commerce are all going to be very subjective, and there has to be a unified procedures to make sure we get into terms. What are the discussions on the second G7 finance ministers meeting? That's in April. That's what we are going to talk now. G7 finance ministers and central bank governors discuss their role in driving forward the transition of their economies and financial systems to net zero. Carbon emission is equally, we have to aim at. Climate revolution is a major opportunity. The need for G7 to raise climate ambition to support 100 billion target, for improved climate related financial disclosures and international transparency to tackle illicit finance from illegal wildlife trade. So the challenges for delivering 100 billion finance commitments. The money promised by developing countries in 2009 is yet to be fully realized. Some signs have emerged now. G7 support for collective goal to surpass the 100 billion per year target in 2021 and beyond with the scale up of international public finance. As the bedrock of international public finance, 100 billion commitment can work in concert with all the pools in public-private finance. By 2025, developed countries should double or triple the current figure of just over 12 billion in grants for climate action. The international community should explore innovative and alternative solutions for public finance, including special drawing rights. Special drawing rights can come and they can use it. It is very vital that we come to terms and draw on each other in terms of contingencies. The meeting of this commitment in Paris Agreement will require, that is on COP21, will require a vast and fundamental shift in private finance in the financial system as a whole. It's vital we see through. When it comes to the G7 role on IMF financial firepower, G7 finance ministers had agreed to support a new and sizable increase in the volume of special drawing rights and internal currency used by IMF. That's what is important. Special drawing rights come from International Monetary Fund. Last year, IMF said it wanted to allocate the special drawing rights to raise the equivalent of 500 billion from 293 billion at the time of last expansion in 2009, just after the global financial crisis. That expansion was opposed by the US President Donald Trump. Last month, US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said she would like an expansion but wanted greater transparency about how the special drawing rights would be used and traded. So these are the complicated stuff. Transparency is important, helping the poor nations are important, and special drawing enforcement is going to be useful for countries to recover. Otherwise, they will be going through huge cost of fund in terms of management. This is a time where you need to have a concessional advantage in terms of interest, so that business thrives, business continuity keeps on happening. And we also seen, as a prelude to the actual political setup, the president and the prime ministers meets. Now finance ministers have met and drawn the agenda to make sure it's fully functional to the global sustainable value creation.